it is a combination of micro and macroeconomics. So there will be concepts which are there from microeconomics, there will be concepts which are there for macroeconomics. So both the areas is what we are going to take when we talk about managerial economics. It's a very interesting area. We will be drawing a lot of curves. So what I would suggest is, if you have a paper and pen close by, please get it, okay? Because it's always important when I'm drawing, if you draw along with me, you will understand how to draw. And as we move on to higher curves and other curves, you will find that it's easier than just looking at it. It's good if you can draw. So I'll just give you 1 minute. If you can just get one paper and pen, which you keep with yourself, and as we move along the course, mainly not so much today, but at least in the next 2 3 classes, 4 classes, definitely please have a notebook or a paper and pen along with you, so that you can draw these different diagrams, because they might seem easy, but once you start drawing, sometimes it is confusing to see which is the point that we are looking into, and how do we find the equilibrium of things, etc. So we need to understand how the entire concept works. So because of that, I'll just give you 1 minute. You can just, if you want, you can just pick up a pen, okay? Yeah, and a paper.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So let's start with the whole concept. We talk about economics as a whole first. So what happens is, whenever we talk about economics, it basically comes from a concept called as scarcity. So we say that if you do not have scarcity, then there is no economics. So the basic point of managerial economics, or any economics for that matter, is that you start with the concept of scarcity. You do not get things. Everybody does not get what they require. That is the reason why we talk about managerial economics, or economics as a such. So basically, initially, we are just starting with the concept of economics. Now, under this, the first point that you talk about is that you talk about first is that we say that needs or wants are unlimited. This is the first important concept on which economics is based. That if you talk about consumers' needs and wants, they are unlimited. So if you say that today I want a pen and paper as you want now, after 1 second you will need something else. Maybe it's too hot, so you need some water to drink. Then you want to go somewhere, so you need a car to go. You want to go to a party, so you want clothes for that. Maybe you want a laptop. So we are not talking about very expensive things. We are talking about everyday things. Means till the time we are alive, we will always require something. There is no point where we do not require something. So wants and needs are unlimited till the time we are alive. So that is the first important thing whenever we talk about economics. That's the basic concept on which economics is working. The second is that resources are scarce. So what do we say? That you have infinite amount of things which you require, but to satisfy it, resources are scarce. And resources do not only mean in terms of money. It means in terms of time. It can be in terms of availability. Maybe, for example, if you want infinite amount of paper, you cannot have it because you have limited amount of trees, okay? Unless you're looking into alternative ways, you'll see that it is not possible to give you everything that you want. So here we are looking into limited resources. So always resources to satisfy the needs are limited. That means as much as somebody wants, we cannot keep satisfying every particular need that a person has. Yes, Smriti?
Actually, ma'am, I just want to remind all the learners that their attendance is very important. They are not attending the sessions fully in full strength. So I request them, please remind your fellow learners that you have to attend all the sessions and you have to give the attendance in the message box as well. It's very important because yesterday we were having a meeting with the headquarter, and it was decided that we need to encourage otherwise we'll have to stop the academic counseling now. So please be attentive, and your attendance is going to the ministry also, so you need to attend. Okay. Sorry ma'am for interrupting.
No, no problem, Smriti. Thank you. Yeah. So, as ma'am said, it is important to attend because ultimately, what we are counseling and teaching gives you a framework in which you learn things and you can ultimately score and do much better. So, that is the end impact, and we are all spending time and we are all there. So, it should ultimately lead to helping all of you. Okay. So, I come back. So, we say that the resources are scarce. Now, the third point is, which is very important, is that the resources have alternative uses. Means if you talk about a resource which can only be used for one thing, then there is no problem. There is, for example, if I say that this is your house and you have to come here. Now there is only one road. Okay, there is no decision you have to take because you start from here and you have to come here, and this is a straight road you have to come. Now no road, if you want to go anywhere, you will see that it is not like that. There can be hundreds of alternative routes to come here, and you will select a route which you like best. So this route might be a very scenic route, this might be a shortcut, this might be very much of traffic, this can be another route where you have to pick up a friend who stays, and this can be a route when you feel that okay, I want to drive somewhere else, you take. So to go to the same place there can be hundreds of different routes. So similarly, resources that we have can be used in many different ways. And the fourth we have, which is very important, is a problem of choice. And problem of choice is what we talk about in economics. So at the end of the day, if we are talking about choice, what should I choose? What will be beneficial to the society? What should be beneficial to the people? How does it benefit? Who do we satisfy? Do we only satisfy rich people? Do we only satisfy poor people? Generally nobody bothers much about middle class. So you find all the decisions which are taken are generally at the end of very rich people or very poor people. And that is a dilemma which we always face. Though maximum number of people fall in the group of middle income group, still generally we will see that not much is discussed about them or not much is talked about them. So what we say is that these are all the four areas which we talk about whenever we are talking about ethics. Okay. A lot of people are joining in now, I think. So I'll just I think I'll just give one minute more because continuously I think people are joining. Okay. So basically, if you see, these are the four things which come to the problem of economics. Now, if you see, this is called as the scarcity definition, which is a very important definition, and probably this is the most accepted definition of economics. So, if you see the definitions of economics, we actually start with um, Adam Smith. Anybody knows the name of his book? Very famous book. Any one of you? Father of economics. Anybody can tell me the name of his book? Yes, any of you? Okay. So basically, there was a trio which was Adam Smith, Ricardo, and Malthus. These three people were in one group, and they are called as the classical economists. Okay, so these classical economists were basically, they were not actually hardcore economists, but this is probably the start of economics as such. So these three people, now Adam Smith is very well known for division of labor as such. Okay, so the whole concept of division of labor and all this was started by Adam Smith, and there were a lot of principles, but mainly he said that nature and causes of wealth of nations is what economics is all about. So here we are talking about Adam Smith, who says that if you're dealing with anything which is related to the nature and causes of wealth of nations, then it is economics. So this is a very, very important statement. The second person, Ricardo, he normally talked about the Ricardian theory of rent, and also about comparative advantage theory of international trade. So these are the different areas which we attribute to Ricardo. So he said that how trade should take place between two nations is again a very important concept, and that we should consider. And Malthus actually talked about the theory of population. And these are very old theories, but if you see, they are even relevant today. In today's date, also, they're equally relevant, they're equally important, and they're very interesting in the sense that, for example, Ricardo's theory of population. He says that food grains will increase in arithmetic progression, whereas population increases in geometric population. That means very fast. Whereas means if agriculture is increasing at this rate, population is increasing at double the rate. So what is happening over here? Only this much increase in agriculture, but this much increase in population. And when the population keeps increasing in this manner, and we do not have our own checks, we do not control the population, then what will happen is you will have different things like natural controls. For example, you will have different diseases, then you will have man-made causes, means you will start having earthquakes, tsunamis, a lot of outbreaks of diseases. You will also have things like war over land and all. And if you see, that is one of the things which is very repetitive in nature. Although we don't know how much we can attribute it to population, but we find this happening. So his theory is still considered one of the best and most well-known theories of population. So these three people actually talked about economics in the sense of wealth. Now the second name I'll come to is Malthus, Alfred Malthus. Alfred Malthus. Marshall, sorry, write it again. Alfred Marshall. Now, Alfred Marshall, if you see the entire course, we will probably be talking about him only, because majority of what you are going to study is given by Alfred Marshall, and he has talked about material welfare. Now, he said that let's not just talk about money, we should talk about welfare. But if you see, this welfare is accounted in terms of money. So ultimately, the second person also has talked about economics only in terms of what can be measured in terms of money. Then, of course, I told you the third definition, which is the scarcity concept, very, very important concept, which is given by Lionel Robbins. Okay, and the last one is given by Samuelson, and he talks about Samuelson, who talks about growth and development. So the last area that you have is Samuelson, who talks about growth and development theories. Now, growth and development is the latest concept which comes into economics, because once all this is fulfilled, what we need for any country is growth and development. So growth generally is estimated in terms of national income. Development is all around. That means you talk about education, environment, you talk about health, you talk about transport, you talk about infrastructure. Everything inclusive will be the development. And why this is important is because initially everybody thought that if the income will increase, all this will automatically happen. But they felt, at least in India, I'll tell you, post independence, after a certain point of time, what happened was that they found that even if the income was increasing, unemployment was increasing. So people were not getting jobs, though money income was increasing. Similarly, the rural areas were not becoming better, the urban development was not taking place, infrastructure was not moving, health was not moving. So, what happened actually over here is that if you see the world population, you'll find that income is concentrated in the hands of 3% of the population. Now, these three people, if they become richer and richer and richer, the national income is increasing. But is it leading to development? No. So that's why the term development started being very prominent. And in today's date, I think more than development, the term which we use is sustainable development, which I think all of you have heard about. Now, sustainable development means that you bring about growth which can be managed and maintained. Means if you talk about growth, it should not be year 1 year, then go down, then again go up, again go down. No, this is not anything which is stable. So, whenever we talk about sustained development, we should be growing in this particular manner. Means it can't be a straight line, obviously, but the fluctuation should not be like this. This is very harmful for any country. For example, one test you give, you get 0. Next test you get 100. Third test you get 30. Again, fourth test you get 98. So here there is no consistency. So they said that it's okay if the student is getting 40. Let him get 45 next time. Then let him get 50. Let him get 60. So slowly we should bring about an improvement, not random up and down. That is very harmful for an economy. So generally, this is how economics started featuring. Now, what happened is they said that general economics is too wide, and there are a lot of things which are not actually needed if we talk about management. So, what they did was they reviewed what was there in microeconomics, what was there in macroeconomics. So, if you see over here, when we talk about wealth of nations, that time we are somewhere in macroeconomics. Then we come to material welfare, and Alfred Marshall, he talks more about individuals, individual firms, individual businesses, all things individual. So we come to the micro concepts, means we are talking about small levels, individual levels. Then from there we go to scarcity definition, which again is somewhere in between, where we talk about individuals also and society about. And then we come to Samuelson's definition, which talks about the entire economy, entire world, everything. So we find that we are actually moving from micro to macro and up and down. So basically, we need a combination of all the things to be there to be able to function in a better way as managers. So it is important to know how your firm will function, but it is also important to understand how the industry is functioning, how the nation is functioning, how all countries, if we are talking about your particular area. So it is not just one area, we are talking about the entire system as a whole. And as a manager, you can only do well when you are aware of not only what is happening inside your firm, but also aware of all the other things which are happening everywhere else. Okay, so that is what we talk about whenever we are talking about managerial economics. So how does a manager manage decision? See, this is one term which we never use when we talk about micro and macro. So the most important term that you start using here is decision making. So for this decision making, we are using micro concepts and macro concepts. Okay, so both micro and macro concepts should be used if we are talking about decision making. So good decision making will involve something. Suppose you are deciding only for your firm, but you want to know what is the government policy. You cannot leave the government policy and just talk about the firm. Okay, you want to see, suppose the government is giving you some benefit. So what is the benefit the government is giving you? Just one second. Okay, so this is what we talk about over here, the decision making, and we talk about micro and macro concepts bringing about together. Now, before we come to this, we will talk about what happens after this. When we bring all these things together, we are coming to the optimum solution. Okay, this is the optimum solution which will come as a result of bringing in all these things together, and that is what we are aiming for, that how can we get all things together so that the solution we are giving comes out to be very proper. Now, how does it actually help? So we say that as a manager, you are able to function better if you know about demand theories, if you know how supply will work, if you know different kinds of markets. For example, you want to join a market which you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to make biscuits. Now, you need to understand what kind of market it is. Okay, so to make these biscuits, which kind of market are you entering? So you will find you are entering into a monopolistic market, because if you go into any superstore, there might be lot of people who are selling biscuits. Okay, and these biscuits, now why should somebody come and buy your biscuit? Please tell me, why should somebody come and buy your biscuit if there are so many people who are selling biscuits in the market? Anyone? Yeah. Any of you, please just answer.
Can you
Are you
repeat the
able to
question?
follow me? Yes. Yes, Sifo, tell me.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
I said, suppose you want to start a business of selling biscuits. Now, there are so many biscuits available in the market. What do you need to understand to sell these biscuits? Means, why should somebody buy your biscuit?
The quality of the
It could be
biscuit.
because of issue of pricing. It
Yes.
could be that yours is cheaper.
Huh. So how do
Maybe
you know it should be cheaper?
you calculate like in terms of what you're putting in and what you'll be like getting out, and you compare with the
Okay.
prices of others,
Okay.
and you make sure that yours has to be slightly cheaper. At the same time, you're also making some profits.
Okay. But see, when
Let
we
me try, Madam
see,
Ma'am.
yes, yes, Isaac, tell me.
The other difference why the people can buy your biscuits, one, they need to focus much on the additional value.
Okay.
Because of the biscuits, obviously they need to have a certain value that those under suppliers they do not have, or they don't, their products do not possess them. So they
Okay.
need to look for the additional value or the specific value that can make them catchy for them to purchase the items.
Okay. Yeah, correct. So if you see, you are not talking about your business, whether it was Sifo or whether it is you, Isaac. You are talking about everybody else who's there in the market. Okay. When he said that your product should be cheaper, little lesser price, for that you need to study what kind of market it is. Okay, you want to study what is the price everybody else is charging. Okay, how are you adding value to your product which is different from everybody else? Now if you see, we talk about a biscuit. To make a biscuit, you need flour, you need sugar, you need butter, you need to bake it at a certain thing. Maybe you will add some chocolate chips, maybe you will add some little flavoring, or you try to make it into different interesting shapes, or dip it in chocolate, whatever. So if you see, the basic requirement for your biscuit for everybody is the same. Okay, so to differentiate your product and get it into the market, to sell it, to find out how to make it more popular, you have to study the market. Okay, so you might say, ma'am, we are doing it in marketing. Yes, you might be doing how to, price of a product and all the P's that you study over there are definitely there. But what we are trying to study here is what is the market. Okay, yeah, Manuel?
Yes, concerning market, the market is a place where people can meet to
Hmm.
exchange, okay, good and money,
Yes.
or good by money. And concerning what was said here, when you are
Hmm.
planning to sell a good in a certain market, you should
Hmm.
first uh, go through a marketing study, where you will know the kind of products, and sometimes you can okay, you can bring a new type of good, but you
Hmm.
should also know the level of, I mean, the purchase power of the clients or the customers that will buy from you, because you can go through differentiation, but if the people that will purchase that product doesn't have money enough, you'll struggle, and then you can face some problem. That's why we must also go through some segmentation, know to whom you will sell your goods, something like that. Thank you.
Yes, correct one. So if you see, that's what I'm saying. Very good description. So as you said, it's a market where we are buying and selling things. But when we study this course and we will draw all these diagrams, you will see it is not just one market that we are studying. We can have a market where there's monopoly, we have monopolistic, we have duopoly, we have oligopoly, and oligopoly has so many small variations. We have monopolistic market, monopsony market, biopsony market. So, if you see, this is what economics will teach you, that if you know the characteristics of the market, if you know how demand works in the market, how supply works in the market, you know a lot of basics of how to bring your product into. After that, you have advertising. After that, you have pricing. After that, you have, where you want to sell your product, lot of things. But the basic concept on what kind of market it is brought about through managerial economics. So a lot of decision making that you're doing is involving the macro and the micro concepts, which we will be studying through the particular course. So that is how it is important to know about your managerial economics course. Now, what I'll come to, one second. I'm just trying to give you some main pointers. Okay. Now, there are some important key concepts or fundamental concepts which we should know before we start with the concept of managerial economics. So, if you come to the fundamental concepts, the first and the most important concept that we talk about is opportunity cost. Okay. See, now suppose you've got this one plot of land. Okay. Now, for this plot of land, you can have different options. So you say, I can build a school. I can make it into a playground. I can make it into a garden. I can build a mall. So I've got so many options. So when I'm sitting down and I look at my plot of land, or I can make my own house also. Okay. So I've got so many different options with one resource. As I said, a resource has alternative uses. So you've got so many things which you can basically do with the plot of land that you have. Now, what you decide is, you think that, no, I don't want to build a house. I already have a house. So let me try to get some money out of this particular land. So I find that if I make a mall, I'm just writing random, very small figures just to explain the concept. So suppose I say that if I build a mall, I will get a benefit or profit of 10,000 rupees. If I have a garden, I will maybe get maybe 2,000 rupees if I'm charging some entry fees or something. If I'm making my own house, I will not get anything. If I have, I make it into a playground, then also maybe I'll just get some 10 rupees or very small amount. If I make it into a school, maybe I'll get a 5,000 rupee profit from it. So these are the different estimations which I've done. See, these are all estimations because actually I cannot work it out. So what I'm doing is I'm just estimating how it will make a difference. So that is what I've done over here. Now, if you see, naturally, if I estimate all this, my preference will be that I make a mall. Okay, because the mall is giving me the maximum amount of profit. So I decide that on this plot of land, I will make a mall. Now, what is opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is the second best alternative. Hold on. So the next best alternative that you have given up is called as the opportunity cost. So if you see over here and among all the other options, the second best alternative was making a school which would have given you a profit of 5,000 rupees. So what is your opportunity cost? Your opportunity cost is 5,000 rupees. Is this clear? So it is the second best alternative, whatever you were getting. I will give you another two examples. So second best alternative, what you have is called as opportunity cost. And I should say, this is probably one of the most important principles of economics. And when I give you examples, you'll see that it is not only in money, it is every sector of your life that you are actually dealing with opportunity cost. For example, if you are sitting here for a particular class because it's going to help you in your career, in your growth, you are giving up maybe spending time with your family, watching TV, or just going out with your friends, or just sleeping. What are these? These are the opportunity costs. So if you value, you will say, maybe not in exact number values, but you can say, oh, I'm sitting here in class because it is more valuable to me. But, yeah, I miss spending time with my family because I'm missing out on these 2 hours. So what is the opportunity cost? The opportunity cost is spending those 2 hours with your family. So it is in terms of time, it is in terms of uh, doing everything. So if you look around you, you will find that opportunity cost is a principle which makes a big difference in everybody's life. Now, let me give you one more example, 2 more examples here, because this really is an important concept. So the second example that I'm going to give you is in terms of employment. Now, suppose there's a person A. He has got 3 jobs. The first one pays him 50,000 rupees. The second one pays him 45,000 rupees. And the third one pays him 30,000 rupees. Okay. Naturally, he will take up this because this is paying him highest. And 45,000 rupees becomes the opportunity cost. Is it clear? We are not even considering the third option. So basically, opportunity cost is always the second option that you give up. There can be hundreds of other options, but we are not looking into that direction. We are just looking into what was the next best alternative which I have given up. So that is the concept of opportunity cost. Is it clear? Now, suppose I say, let's add 2-3 things over here. So if you see in the simplistic version, we have just taken money, and according to money, we have determined opportunity cost. Okay. Now I say this 50,000 job, you have to shift to another town. Okay. This is in your hometown. And this we are not working on. Now, here I say that the cost of living is very low. Means things are not expensive, and you are staying in your own home with your family, and your workplace is only maybe 2 kilometers away. And here you have to shift to another town, which you don't know anything about. Cost of living is very high, means it's a very expensive city. And the place of work, even if you get a house, to traveling takes you more than maybe it is around 20 kilometers that you need to travel every day. Now, does your opportunity cost change? Or you will still go and take the job which pays you 50,000 rupees?
It will change, madam.
It
Yeah,
changes.
yes, Neil. Yeah. So it will change. Now, maybe you will say, no, no, I prefer the 45,000 rupee job, because with 45,000 rupees, I actually, if you add up over here, you will see here I add maybe 10,000 rupees, which I will have to pay here for housing, maybe 5,000 rupees, which I need to pay for traveling, maybe another 5,000 rupees because I am staying with my family, so food, everything, I don't have to pay anything extra. So now, if you amount for this, look at the amount it goes up to. Okay, so this is what happens when we talk about opportunity cost. As we add up elements, as we decrease elements, the whole scenario changes. So it is a very interesting concept. And what I would like to ask you to do as a small homework is actually think on all the areas around you. Just look around you, because managerial economics is something which you can just see around you. So just look around you and see where are you using the concept of opportunity cost. Just around you, if you look, you can find hundreds of examples where opportunity cost will play a important role. Now, the third example, and this is a considered as a very, very important concept in education. Now, what happens is, in a place like India, maximum people go into higher education. Okay, so you will find people will do their high school, go into college, and then go into doing their post graduation, even doing their PhD. Because in India, the family structure is very different. So what happens is, all children stay with their parents. We do not have any concept that 18 years now you look, you take up your job and you work and you do everything on your own. So in India, the education system works in a very different manner, because your children are staying with you, and they might be staying for a very long time. Even once they get married and they have their own children, still we will be all staying together. So if you see, that is why people go into much higher education, and even for government jobs, if they have to give an exam 3 4 times, maybe till the age of 27, 28, 29, also people are studying, and maybe not working also, depending on the requirement of the parents and other things. So it works like that in India. Okay, but in another country, suppose we say US or UK, what happens here is, now that child at the age of 18 has to work, and he has to take a decision whether he wants to do work or whether he wants education. So, and this is a very interesting study. Okay, now what happens is, this person might just feel, oh, if I'm going into education, I have to pay tuition fees, I have to pay housing, I have to pay for food. How am I going to do all this? So let me work. Now, he does not realize that even if you're working, you have to pay your housing and you have to pay for food. So ultimately, your only thing that you actually are paying is the tuition fees. I'm not saying it's less, but when we account for it, people give up education to work, and they lose out on better opportunities that they can get after those 2 or 3 years of education, which will give them better work, better salaries, and a much better life. So this is a major study which takes place, and what is most important is that when they're considering education, they are talking about housing and food and travel and everything. But when are talking about work, they are not considering these factors. That time they're just saying, oh, if I work, I will get maybe $100. So they're just interested in $100. They're not seeing that all this is common factor which they either ways have to pay. So this, you can contest the study and you can say that this doesn't seem very right, because okay, how will they manage to pay the tuition fees? Maybe with small jobs or some other type of job, they can go into earning the amount which is required for the tuition fees and basic housing and food. And probably at the end of those 2 years, they might get much better work opportunities, much higher paid jobs. But at this point, when they are at maybe this 18 or 19 years old, they think that work is a better option. So the opportunity cost becomes education. It is no longer work. And this is a very interesting study which has been conducted so many times. Okay. Yeah. Good to see all the reactions. I love seeing the reactions whenever I'm in your class, particularly. So I hope this concept is now clear. Is everybody clear on the concept of opportunity cost? Because if you talk about war and peace also, you will see we are talking about the concept of opportunity cost. Lot of these kind of examples are there all over if we are talking about opportunity cost. So as I said, this is one of the first very, very important principles of economics that we talk about. Now, what is the second one? The second one is even more interesting, which is called as the concept of marginalism. Okay. So, what we say is not the choice that do you want to eat or don't you want to. So, suppose it's dinner time. I will never ask you the question, do you want to eat or don't you want to eat? Do you want to eat or not eat? Okay, this question does not arise because it is dinner time. All of you are sitting to eat dinner. Naturally, you are going to eat. What will be my question? I will say, initially, you've taken 2 slices of bread. I will say, do you want another slice of bread? Or do you want another piece of chicken? Or do you want another glass of wine? I am asking you for an additional unit. And that is the concept of marginal unit, which is called as additional unit. Is it clear? So the additional unit is what makes economics very interesting. It is not do you want it or don't you want it. Food we will always want, clothes we will always want. So if you go to a sale and suppose we say that if you buy one shirt, you buy it at full price. If you buy 2 shirts, you get 20% off. If you buy 4 shirts, you get 50% off. Now you have to decide. I went to the market to buy only this one shirt. But because I saw the offer, I might end up buying this 2 shirts or I might also end up buying the 4 shirts. But if you think this one shirt will be your perfect choice, when you're buying 2 shirts, one is your choice, but second will be, okay, this is also okay, I can buy it. But if you buy 4 shirts, normally the last 2 shirts will be, okay, I'll buy it to give it to someone else. Means you're picking up things which you don't even like. Correct? So this is the concept of marginalism that we actually talk about, that when we are buying more or getting more, is it giving me the same amount of satisfaction? 90% of the times we will find it is not giving us that same amount of satisfaction. It is decreasing the level of satisfaction which I have. It is decreasing what I feel as good. Do you agree with me on this statement? That the first shirt you buy will be something you really like, but the second one will not be so much. And 4 shirts definitely will not be that I really like all the 4 shirts. That it can be, but it will be a very, very rare case where you have the 4 shirts which you really like. Okay. I saw Nirmal agrees with me. What about the others? Do you agree with me on this or not? Can I just have some water?
Yeah. So, teacher, sorry, I'd like to maybe give some comments on
Yes,
this.
tell.
Yeah. When we talk about marginalism or additional unity, okay, uh, we can face this in 2 ways. When it comes to cost or the profit, we can have marginal profit because of some like some additional input or level of production that will lead us to have let's say marginal profit. And we have also another perspective where we can have some marginal cost of something. That's why I was trying to
Yeah.
find it.
We are
Can
not
you?
talking about the costing part yet. See, marginal cost is when we talk about production. Okay, so when we are, see, if we are talking about this, all these concepts are working from two different thoughts. One is when we talk about these things from the consumer's point of view. I'll come to two very interesting theories on this, which I think you all will enjoy listening to. So there are two very interesting theories that we talk about, and this is what I'm talking about from the consumer's perspective. Now, from the producer's perspective, he will also decide, does it make sense to produce one additional unit? So whenever we talk about cost, we will talk about costing from the producer's point of view. Okay, from the consumer's point of view, we talk about, yes, Nelson, I will come to diminishing marginal utility now. Okay, so from the consumer's point of view, we are talking about the utility the good is giving you. Okay, it is your birthday. First person gives, he gives you a beautiful pen. The second person comes, he gives you the same pen. The third person comes, he gives you the same pen. And if you've invited 10 people, all the 10 people give you the same pen. You might feel very happy when you get the first pen, but after you get the second and third and fourth pen, definitely you will say, please don't give me another pen. So what made you happy with the first unit is definitely not going to make you happy when you reach the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th pen. Okay, so that is the concept of diminishing marginal utility. Now, here, whenever we come to the concept of utility, the utility basically talks about want, satisfying power of a commodity. Means we want to find out if the desire or the requirement for something is fulfilled with that one commodity. Now, utility by itself is a very interesting concept. It means, for example, if a person is a smoker, a cigarette has high utility for him. But for a non-smoker, the cigarette has no utility. Okay, so it is basically what a person desires, and it is influenced by a lot of things. For example, place. Currently, if you're sitting here for a class, you can have a car, or you can have you can have a very good car, but that is of no utility to you currently. Maybe currently you want a good internet connection, and maybe you want some paper and pen. That's the only thing, and maybe some water, but that is the only thing which has utility for you at this particular point of time. So there can be something which we call as time utility. Similarly, if you go to a very cold place, sweaters have very high utility. But here in Bangalore, it is so hot. I will say it doesn't have any utility for me. I want summer clothes which I can really, cotton clothes which are cooler. I will definitely not even want to look at a sweater. So that is called as place utility. Knowledge utility. For example, if you are giving a lecture on a certain topic, then knowledge utility is very important. How well do you know the subject which you are going to talk on? Okay, so utility can be different according to different things, and you find that every need or want cannot be satisfied. For example, I will say, I really want to buy one nice big house on Mars. Maybe in future I might get this desire, but currently if I wanted, people will say, no, sorry, we cannot give it to you. I want a computer which I can just fold and just put it in my pocket and wherever I want. I don't even carry it. I just tap in the air and I can open one screen. We see it in so many movies, but it is still not come to consumers as such. Okay, so I feel that I wish I had something like that, and it would make my life so much convenient that wherever I was walking or sitting, I could have just tapped and done my work. Okay, so these are wants which cannot be satisfied. So currently, they can be there as want, but they won't be there in utility because it doesn't have the want satisfying power. Okay, it is just hypothetical in nature. It cannot lead to satisfying of any wants. So when we talk about utility, we come to two of the base theories, and these base theories are very important when you're talking about pricing of products, you're trying to reach consumers, you're trying to market your products, whatever you're trying to do. These are the two basic theories which are very, very important. The first is called as the law of diminishing marginal utility, and the second is called as the law of equi-marginal utility. So the first law that we have is the law of diminishing marginal utility. What does it mean? It means as we consume more and more of a commodity, the utility of the commodity will go down. For example, if I'm very thirsty and somebody gives me a glass of water, the speed at which I will drink that water will be very fast because I'm really thirsty. Then the person says, have some more water. So if I'm still thirsty, I will still have the second glass of water, but it will not give me the satisfaction which the first glass of water gave me. Now the person tells me, no, have another glass of water. So I will say, no, I don't want any more. It was enough. But there's a no, you have to have. So maybe I will just drink it. By now I don't want to drink that water because already I've had 2 glasses of water. I'm not talking about 2 sips. Okay. So we have to understand that the quantity we are taking should be enough. For example, if I talk about a glass of water, it should be this glass. It should not be just this much water. Okay, then I will definitely want more and more. But you should have an adequate amount of something when we are talking about diminishing marginal utility. Now he says, no. Okay, third glass you have to have the fourth glass of water also. Now I'll say, see, I'll start feeling ill if you make me drink so much water. So what was leading to very high amount of satisfaction now has become negative. This is what the law of diminishing marginal utility tells me. And this is the kind of curve that you have. So here you will take units. You can draw this if you want. And here you have marginal utility and total utility. So if you draw this curve, what you get is that your marginal utility, suppose you take from 0 units, you can take your total utility, which goes something like this. And you have your marginal utility. What happens is if you take this point as your highest point, you get your marginal utility as something which will decrease 0 and go down. So this will be your marginal utility. So what do you say is there are 3 stages. So here this is called as stage 1. This top point is called as stage 2 and this is called as stage 3. So what happens in stage 1? In stage 1, we will say marginal utility decreases, but it is positive. That means the first glass of water to the second glass of water is something I can drink. Okay, it's not that I just don't want to drink. So maybe the first and the second glass of water, naturally my satisfaction is going down, but I don't mind drinking another glass of water, is what I'm trying to say. So this is the point where your total utility will be increasing. Then you come to stage 2. At stage 2, that is the third glass of water, your marginal utility will become 0. So you'll be, no, I don't want water. Please, I've had enough water. I don't want. So here it has become 0. And at this point, your total utility is maximum. Okay, so you have reached your highest point of satisfaction over here. So this is where your total utility has become maximum. Now, stage 3. What is stage 3? Stage 3 is where your marginal utility is decreasing. But what has it become? It has become negative. That means now if you ask the person to drink the 4th and 5th and 6th glass of water, he will start feeling ill. He will say, I'm going to throw up like this. What are you doing? I can't even move now. And I'm feeling ill because you made me drink so much water. So even with food, if you see, initially you want to eat and you really enjoy food. But after a certain point, you'll say, I just can't look at this food anymore. I've eaten too much now. Isn't it so? That sometimes we really like something and we keep stuffing and stuffing, and then we say, now I can't look at it, because there will be a point where that same food which you were finding very satisfying starts making you feel ill. So that is where your marginal utility becomes negative. And you will say total utility starts decreasing. Okay, so now the total utility will start decreasing, marginal utility will become negative. Is this clear? So this is the first law. I'm not drawing the table because you don't need it, but generally this is the law that you have over here. So here you will have first stage where your marginal utility will go down. Marginal utility, remember, always will go down. There is no point where your marginal utility is increasing. That's why if you see, I've started from here. At 0 point, we are not talking about utility. If you not had any water, we cannot talk about utility. This portion of the curve that I've drawn, this portion of the curve that I've drawn is just to join it to the origin. Actually, your curve is starting from this point and going like this. Yeah. So this area, even if you don't draw it, is perfectly fine. It's just to make the curve look more uniform that we are drawing that portion. But when you're not drinking any water, that time there is no utility, there is no satisfaction, there is no marginal utility, there is no total utility. Is it clear? Is the first law clear to all of you? Yeah. Can I have a reaction from all the 30 people who are 39, 40 people who are there? Yes. Okay. Okay. That's good. So this
Can
is
you
the
just
first.
explain again, ma'am, on the
Yes.
marginal
Yes, I
utility,
said.
the law? Is it possible if you can just explain again,
Again.
just
Okay.
in a prompt way?
Okay. Okay. So, see, the law of diminishing utility says that as we consume, as we have more and more of a good, the utility will continuously keep on decreasing. So that is what we found. Which utility will keep on decreasing? Marginal utility will keep on decreasing. Total utility initially will increase. For example, if you go from the first to the second unit glass of water, total utility will increase. Marginal utility will decrease. Then, when you drink the third glass of water, that time your marginal utility will become zero, because you're already full and you don't want to have more water. Then we go on to the fifth and sixth glass, fourth, fifth, sixth glass of water. At this point, your marginal utility becomes negative and your total utility starts to decrease. That's what I said, that you don't want to have it. Means, I give the example of pens. So the first and second pen, you are happy. Okay, one pen, very nice. Second pen, very nice, because, okay, I've got two of them. Okay, third pen also okay. But fourth pen, I don't want any more pens. Fifth, sixth, seventh pen, please, all of you, please take it back, get me something else. So here your utility has become negative. You no longer want more units of it. Is it clear? Isaac, is
Yeah,
it clear?
clear. Yeah, clear. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Now we come to the next law. The next law is again a very, very interesting law. So that we talk about the second one, which is called as the law of equimarginal utility. If you all see, you will find a lot of discussion and a lot of tables on it, but I am not going here. Now, what happens is, the difference between diminishing marginal utility and equimarginal utility is, when we talk about diminishing marginal utility, we are talking about only one commodity. So we are just talking about one commodity which a person is buying. So if you're just buying or drinking like one glass of water, you're eating bread. Okay, it's not that I eat one slice of bread, then I have one piece of chicken, then I have one nice chocolate, and I have something else. Then it is different things. Okay, yes, Manuel, correct. We see it every day. All these laws, actually, if you see, that's why I said that I really like this subject, because you can see it everywhere around you. It's only that we are naming these things as different things, but all the concepts which we are going to study is something which all of you see on an everyday basis. Okay, so basically when we talk about one commodity, please remember, we are not saying that I sit down to eat, I eat one slice of bread, then I have some chicken, then I have some salad, then I have one sweet, then I drink some water, then I drink some wine. That is not going to lead to diminishing marginal utility. Diminishing marginal utility will only apply when you're having the same thing. Means if you're eating chicken, you are just having one leg piece, then you're having the second leg piece, you're having third leg piece, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. You can understand. So here the utility is going down. Okay, so that is where we are talking about diminishing marginal utility. Now, equi-marginal utility is when we are talking about on an everyday basis, it's not just one thing. Okay, the same example, like for example, if you sit down to eat, on your plate, you will have bread, you will have some chicken, you will have some vegetable, you will have something to drink. That's a complete platter. Now, how much of each thing do you take? So suppose I say this is your plate. Maybe you will have 4 slices of bread. Okay, you say I want just one piece of chicken, and you might have one heap of vegetables over here. Okay, and one small piece of sweet. So if you see, there's a proportion which you need of different things, which will give you the same level of satisfaction. Means if I don't eat the bread, then I'll feel, oh, I missed out on eating the bread today. Suppose today we say, oh, there's no bread. You just eat chicken and this. So you will keep feeling, oh, I really wanted a little bit of bread to have with the sauce or the chicken. Okay, so we say that as a whole, you always need a combination of things. Okay, so this combination of things will be such that the utility that you get from each of the things should be equal. For example, the 4 slices of bread to this 2 pieces of chicken, to this maybe one bowl of vegetable, to this one sweet, the satisfaction that you get from all these things are equal. Do you understand? For example, if you're writing, okay, you need one copy and one pen or one pencil. You need both the things, okay, because they are giving you same level of satisfaction. Okay, if you're coloring, you will say, I need 12 color pencils and one coloring book. Now, this one coloring book and the 12 color pencils are giving you the same level of satisfaction. So, you are going to buy every month when we do budgeting at home, and we think of how much to buy for different commodities. Means I've got 2, 3, 4, 5. If you see in a month, we buy hundreds of things. Do we just decide that this month I will only buy rice? No. I will buy rice, I will buy petrol, I will buy 2 books, I will even pay for my electricity bill, I will pay for my internet bill, maybe I will buy 2 storybooks because I like to read, I will buy 2 dresses because I'm fond of dresses, I might need a pair of shoes, I will have to pay my daughter's tuition fees this month. So what I'm doing is, in this particular month, there will be hundreds of things which I'm planning to buy. So what I will do is I will decide how I want to spend my money in all these things so that my satisfaction level is the same. I'm not buying equal quantity. Means in my house, I require 3 kgs of rice in a month. So I will only buy 3 kgs of rice. I need 12 eggs. So I will just buy 12 eggs. I need 6 pouches of butter. I will buy 6. I love to read, so every month I want to buy 2 books. So I'll just buy 2 books. So if you see, example that I'm giving you, I am not buying the same amount of all the things. I'm buying what will give me satisfaction, which is equal for all the things. Now, again, let me come back to the same example. Yeah, can one of you tell me, suppose it's Sunday, okay, and I just want one of you to tell me, in that 24 hours, What do you want to do? What are the things? What will you do? Any of you? Any one or two people?
Yes, at least you eat.
Yes, a brand. Okay. So
You
how
like
much
to eat
time will you
food.
spend on that? Okay. How much time?
At least twice or
You've got
three.
24 hours.
Yes, it was, yes.
3 hours.
At
Okay.
least
Then
that's
what
all.
will you do?
um, you buy some food stuff that you eat,
Okay,
and
you will pass off all the days, but what will you do in the pass the day? Means what will you do as a passing? Yeah, Villa, tell me.
You can even spend it on prayer.
Okay, go out with friends.
Prayer, yes. Or prayer.
Prayer. Okay.
Yes. Maybe 1 hour.
Yeah. What else? Anything else?
Maybe watch football.
Yes.
Watch football.
Watch TV.
Yes.
Okay. Then go for a movie. You can also go out to eat. Okay. What about sleep? Oh, I love to sleep if I get time on Sunday. I would say if I get time, I would like to sleep in the afternoon. Maybe get up a little late. I have to get up at 5 o'clock every day. So if it is Sunday for me, I think the most pleasurable activity is I will try to get up at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Okay, then make some nice breakfast and then maybe clean the house a little bit and maybe go and meet my friends or go out for lunch and come back, maybe sleep some more, and in the evening I would like to watch TV. So what I'm saying is my activities, my 24 hours might be very different from your 24 hours. Correct? I think all of you will agree that if you write down what you're going to do for the 24 hours, all of you will plan differently. So, as one person said, he will spend 3 hours eating. Maybe I will only spend 1 hour eating. Another person said that for the prayer, maybe 3 hours of prayer they would like to do. Maybe I would just like to do half an hour of prayer. Okay, I would like to meet my friends and chat with them for maybe 3 hours. The other person might only want to decides, no, I don't want to meet any friends today. He might decide that I want to watch TV for 10 hours. I might want to watch a TV only for 5 hours. Okay, I want to go out to a good place or go to a mall and I want to do some shopping and eat some food. So maybe I plan to spend some 7 hours here. Okay, another person might say, oh, I don't like to go out. It's a holiday. I just want to stay at home. So I don't want to do this. Okay, this person decides I want to sleep for at least 7 hours. Now, since I'm going out, I cannot afford to sleep. So maybe I'll sleep only for 2 hours. So if you see, what gives me satisfaction to what gives another person satisfaction can be very different. So all of us will plan our activities as per our needs and what exactly I would like to do with my own time. Okay, so that is what I'm talking about when we talk about equi-marginal utility. How do we spend our time? How do we spend our resources so that we get the best out of each resource that we are spending something on? Okay, so just to understand the concept, what was done by Alfred Marshall was he just took two commodities and he said that I'll just give you this example. Like, for example, he's buying apples and bananas. Okay. And he finds one place where he says that he's got now 120 rupees he can spend. Okay. The price of apples is rupees 20. The price of bananas is rupees 10. Okay. So, first of all, he finds an equilibrium. So, suppose this is 100 and this is 80. So if you divide, you will have to take price of apples divided by utility of apples should be equal to price of bananas upon utility of bananas. Uh, sorry, reverse. Sorry. I'm writing it opposite. Yeah. So you've got a utility of apples, marginal utility of apples upon price of apples should be equal to marginal utility of bananas upon price of bananas. So here, if you see, it is 100 divided by 20, and here it is 80 divided by 20. So this is not equal. Okay, because this will come out to be some 5, and here you will get some other value. So like that, he will have a table where he will sit and calculate. So the next one, suppose we take this is 80 and here 60. Again, this is not equal. Then we take 40 and 20. Now this is equal. Okay. So if you're taking 40 divided by 20 and you're taking 20 divided by 10, this is coming out to be equal. So if you see first, second, third. So if he's buying 3 units, we can say, oh, good. Now my utility is equal. So I can buy maybe 3 units of apples and 3 units of bananas. Okay. So what happens is, if we draw this, we are taking apples on one side and bananas on one side. Now, just for convenience, your utility curves goes downwards, but because we are taking this axis, we are drawing this curve this direction and this curve this direction. So it's both decreasing that we are taking. So what did we do? We said that 3 units of apples and 3 units of bananas. So this is the point where I said, okay, now the satisfaction level is okay. Now what happens is, suppose he insists that I want 1 more unit of apple. Now apple is naturally more expensive, and if you see over here in the table, the apple is giving him more as such units of satisfaction. So he will not want to buy more bananas. He will, if he wants to, he will want to buy more apples only. But if he is buying this 1 additional unit of apple, he has to give up quite a bit of bananas. So maybe if he's going from 3 to 4, here he will come down. So if he sees his loss, he will have a lot of loss. So what will happen? He will stick to buying 3 units of apples and bananas, so that he is at the maximum utility level. So basically, this is just a general example. Don't go very much into understanding this. What I want to say is that at the end of the day, whatever amount you are going to spend on different things, you want the level of satisfaction from each use to be the same. You don't want one thing to give you more satisfaction and another thing to give you less amount of satisfaction. You want equal satisfaction from each and every use which is there for a particular consumer. Is it clear? Is it clear how you're going to divide your money, or how you're going to divide your time, or how you're going to decide on your budget will be in a manner so that every single use that you go to, you get the same amount of satisfaction. Is the concept generally clear to all of you? Is it clear? Okay. Yeah. So one second. Now, okay. So I'll come to the last concept which I'm going to deal for today, and that is when we talk about, just one second, I just wanted to see if I can give you the decision theory. Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. I'll just see, because consumers equilibrium I dealt with. Marginal utility. Okay. Now, remember this, that the main problem with these two theories that we have talked about is that they say that, you can measure utility. Now, I say that you go to meet a friend. Can you tell me numbers, how much utility you've got? Or if you're drinking a glass of water, can you tell me exactly the utility you get from drinking one glass of water? Is it possible?
No,
No,
hard,
it
hard to tell.
it cannot be measured.
Yes. So it cannot be measured. So the main fault of the two theories that we studied is that you can measure utility in exact numbers. Now, even better is, see, I give you an example where we said that, okay, 2 units of apples and 2 units of bananas. But if you actually calculate, first of all, do we sit down and calculate? Suppose I have to go to the supermarket today. Okay, will I sit down and calculate every single thing that I have to buy? Is it possible? For a month, you can have approximations. You can have that, okay, I have an income of 50,000 rupees. Out of this, I have to spend 10,000 rupees on food. Okay, then I will spend maybe 5,000 rupees is my house rent. This I'm spending on food. Maybe 5,000 rupees I will spend on entertainment, whatever I enjoy doing. 5,000 rupees I will keep as fixed deposit in the bank as saving. That also can be a option. Then I need 2,000 rupees for petrol, etc. So here you can just make an approximation, but can you exactly say how many units will give you exact satisfaction? So when they talk about the vaguest examples, they say that maybe your satisfaction lies in buying half an apple and three-fourths of a banana. But if you go to any market and you tell the person, I want half an apple and I want three-fourths of a banana, I don't think anywhere, any market, any farmer, anyone will be willing to give you that kind of ratio. Correct? I think all of you will agree that it's just not possible to get that kind of a combination of anything. So you might not get that kind of ratio in anything that you are doing. So this is the biggest problem which we face whenever we talk about diminishing marginal utility or equal marginal utility theories. In today's world, actually, most of these concepts, they say, is not possible, because the basic philosophy which managerial works off is called as rational man. And how many of us are rational people? Do you agree you are a rational person? How many of you say you are a rational person? Can you just raise your hand? Okay. So I find a lot of people saying they are rational people. But if you see, in the latest economic theories, they say there is no one who can be a rational person. If you're a rational person, you sit down and calculate all this. Do you calculate all this at home before you go? I just get now.
No.
No. Okay. Secondly, if you go to the market and you've decided to buy maybe 1 kg of potatoes and maybe one bottle of soft drink, and you find that there is some very nice new biscuits or new chips or some new shampoo in the market, and you say, "Oh, I just want to try this." Don't we pick it up? So, according to the economic rational man, you will never pick this up. You will just say, no, I have come to buy half an apple and three-fourths of a banana, and I will not buy anything outside it. Now, tell me, how many of you want to raise your hands for being a rational person? Yes. So we agree. So this is what, nowadays when we talk about economics, we talk about behavioral economics and all these new fields, because they said it is not possible to be this rational, hypothetical being which we talk about under economics when we just start studying economics. So it's a very interesting thing that we actually talk about. And these are the concepts. Now, that doesn't mean that we say that these concepts are not important. Okay, this is a very, very important concept that you talk about. Yes, Khalid, maybe if your father has given you exactly those 10 rupees to buy the two things, you might do that. But still, I will say your father would not have calculated those two things and found out the level of satisfaction. So maybe your father would not have been the rational human being in this sense, because you are just going and buying those two things. So you'll find that it generally does not at all happen. Okay, so what happens is, you might say, the first question you can ask me is, ma'am, why are we wasting time then reading these theories if it is not applying? The thing is, all these theories apply, and as I said, every day in our life we see it happening. But it doesn't apply in the sense that we sit and calculate. But don't you agree that diminishing marginal utility is part of our lives? Okay, whether we want to buy things, whether we are getting gifts, whether anything in excess, we never want it. Okay, even if you have a vegetable which is your favorite, uh, I can very clearly state, if that vegetable is given to you continuously for maybe 10 meals, you will not want to have it. Okay, even if it is your most favorite thing in the world, after maybe having it for the second or third day, you will say, oh, I want a break, I want to eat something else. So if you see, these laws actually apply everywhere, but maybe the calculation element or exactly finding out equilibrium is not what is going to apply. Okay, so I hope that general picture of how your managerial economics works and the key concepts which we talked about, two very important concepts. One is your opportunity cost, and the second is the concept of marginalism, is clear to all of you. Are these two concepts clear to all of you? Are these concepts clear to all of you?
Yes, clear, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So we any questions you have on this? Decision making, I can tell you. Okay, yeah, I'll just deal with one more concept and I'll stop over here. That is called as time perspective. And time perspective will play a very important role once we start with different market competitions or different ways of thinking. Now, here, according to Alfred Marshall, there are 4 time periods which we need to study. Okay, so the first time period, why time perspective is important is because it tells you how are you going to decide on production, how are you going to decide on pricing, etc. So here we say that there are two things which I will talk about here. The first is the time duration, and second is, because of time, what happens. So if you see, the first thing we talk about is market period. Now, what is the market period? Now, that is what we talk about as market period. Now, that means, suppose you suddenly come to know there's a friend's birthday and you want only blue color balloons, and you want to fill the entire room with 100 blue color balloons because it's your friend's favorite color. Now you go to the shop and you say, I want 100 blue color balloons, and that shopkeeper has only 50 balloons. You say, I am willing to pay you double also, but I want 100 balloons. Can he possibly give it to you? He has only 50. So he will say, it's okay, you want to give me more, I can maybe look for it and get it to you in maybe some time. But immediately, I cannot give you more than 50 balloons because that is all that I have. So even if you are willing to pay more, the supply of this particular balloon will not increase because he has just got 50. Okay, similarly, you want to buy spinach, and there's one lady who is sitting on the road and selling spinach. She's got one basket with maybe 20 bundles of spinach, and you go and tell her, I want 50 bundles. She will say, I don't have, this is all I have, you want, you take. And maybe if you want the whole thing, she will maybe raise the price, or 10 people come, she will increase the price of spinach, but she cannot increase the quantity of spinach under any conditions. So that is the importance of market period, because in market period, even if somebody wants, we cannot increase the quantity of the commodity. That's why it becomes very important. Even if the demand goes up, the supply of the commodity cannot change. Is everybody clear on the first period? That is the market period. Normally we only talk about short run and long run. That's why I'm saying that market period is now. When I just want something now, then it is called as market period. The second time period that we talk about is called as short run period. Now, what is the short run period? Maybe we talk about, earlier it used to be around 5 years also, but now with technological advancement and how fast changes take place, we'll say short run period maybe up to maybe 2 years, or two maximum of 5 years. So here what happens is, suppose now I tell him that I want these 100 balloons. He will say, yeah, sure, we will get it, and we will produce it, and we will sell it and give it to you. But I have a machine which can only make 100 balloons. But the person comes and says, I want 500 balloons. You will say, no, not possible. My machines and my equipment and this much time period, I can only make 100 balloons. I cannot make 500 balloons. So here what has happened, from 50, I can increase the supply to 100, but I cannot increase the supply to 500. So it is limited by my machines, it is limited by the resources, it is limited by the people who are working for me. So I can increase my resources little bit, but not as much as I want to. So under short run period, I have two types of factors. One is called as the fixed factors, and the second is called as the variable factors. Variable factors means I can employ more people, no problem. I have 2 people, I can employ another 5 people. But fixed factor means I have taken a loan of 2 lakh rupees. Now I can't suddenly go and take another loan. I have taken one house on rent. I can't just go and buy another house, because currently it is only a shorter period. In the long run, I can do whatever I want to. But in the short run, I will not want more amount of these resources. Okay. So in the short run period, I have fixed factors and I have variable factors. Some things which I can change and some things which I cannot change. Okay. The third is called as long run period. In the long run period, everything is variable. So I can buy more land, I can buy more machines, I can get more amount of money, I can get more labor, I can do whatever I want. So the change is flexible and I can keep on getting as much as I want. Yes, Aubrey, any question? I can see your hand up. Any question? Okay. So the last time period that you have is called as a secular period. Now, secular period is a very important period. Please remember, whenever you are doing some any kind of work, secular period becomes a very important period. It means a time period for which I can't decide anything. For example, if you see, when we had started with computers, we talked about desktop computers. Now, I think maybe in colleges or other places or offices you might find. But personally, I think 90% people don't have a desktop. Most people will have a laptop with them. You had pen drives, you had those pagers, then you had so much of these floppy disks, and you had CD writers. Now, do you even find it anywhere? It's very difficult to find these things because now they have been wiped out. So secular period is a period for which we cannot decide anything, we cannot predict anything. And in today's date, what will be there in the market after 10 years, we just cannot make any predictions. So that is called as a secular period, where we are talking about long-term requirements. So there are 4 time periods here. If you see, the first is the market period, which is very, very short. Immediately what is available in the market. So here you cannot change the supply at all. The demand is there, price will rise. That is all that happens. The second is the short run period. In the short run period, there are certain things or certain things like supply you can change to a little extent till the time you've got your machines, you've got your resources. But you also have fixed vectors, means you can't go beyond it. In the long run, you can change everything. You want 500 units, you want 1,000 units, you want 10,000 units, I can give whatever you want. That is not a problem. And secular period is an uncertain period for which I cannot tell you anything. Anything can change, anything can come in. Maybe after 10 years, I don't know whether the product will be in the market. So I cannot take decisions about what is going to happen after a period of 10 years. So this is how we talk about time perspective. Is this clear to everybody? Is this concept clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay, so I hope all today I just did the base work and I just told you some of the important things which are there. Now, the next class I will start with the concepts and the diagrams and everything. So please, if possible, get your color pens also and have your notebooks next to you so that you can, draw all the things that we are going to draw. It's better if you start drawing in class so that if there's a doubt, you can immediately ask me that I'm not getting this diagram and how to explain it, so we can go ahead with that. So is it clear? So with this, I will end the class today. Any other questions on what we have covered today? Anything else? Is everybody clear with the portions? Okay.
Yes, it's clear. It's okay.
Yeah, okay. So for today, we will stop the class here. And thank you, Nelson. I hope you enjoy the subject. As I said, I am very fond of the subject. I find it very interesting to teach because I feel it is, wherever you look, you will find it. So there is no dearth of examples of what we are doing.
We would like to thank you, madam, for the last semester because
Yes.
we did very well in your assignment and in the exam also. Very good result. I got 2B in
Oh, excellent. So
yeah.
nice to hear that. I hope you get
In
highest
yeah.
grades in this. This is a very scoring subject. Okay. So I hope if you draw in this subject, if you draw the diagrams correctly, no one can cut marks for you. So that is a very, very good thing about it. Okay. So, okay. Yeah, sure. I will share my number also with you all, and I will also share my email ID with you all. So you can also reach out to me if there's any problem. Okay. Yeah. So see you all tomorrow. Please be there on time so that I will be there exactly at 7. I hope to see you all that time. Okay. Thank you.